I started from 8 years, then I memorized the entire Quran, uh, 15 years old. Yes, I am currently doing a master's now.
I am saying it with gratitude to God Almighty that in Yobe state here, we are not only ready to integrate the Almajiri, but we want to make life better for them.
The Almajiri falls in the category of extremely poor children in Nigeria. These children roam the streets, particularly in northern Nigeria. They have become familiar sights in major cities and towns, often begging, maladjusted, aggressive and out of schools. Decade-long violent conflict in the northeast, destruction of schools by insurgents, forced displacement and the volatile nature of the region have negatively affected access to primary education for these children.
Well, first of all, I would like to trace the history of the Almajiri system. The Almajiri system in northern Nigeria is almost 1,000 years old. It started in the 11th century through the cross-strait border communication with the Arabs who brought Islam to northern Nigeria. Now, it underwent a reform in the 19th century during the caliphate of Usman Dan Fodio, where it was also recalibrated in such a way. What is the system all about? It is where parents release their children to an Islamic scholar or teacher that teaches the children how to memorize the Quran and know basic tenets of Islam. So over the years, when the British government took over, there was a kind of disruption in the system. Before the British government came, the Almajiri system was being funded by public funds. You know, people donate money to the school, and then they use it to feed the children. But the British system abolished that. So before the British system came, the public felt the Almajiri through systemic, strategies, public funds, where they put together. When the British came, they banned that. And so for them to survive, the scholars now started sending the children to the streets to be able to source for money to sustain the system. Now, over the years, as everything in Nigeria, the system has been bastardized over the years. What they now started doing was to now use the children as a ways of raising money. First of all, under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it is wrong to use minors for such venture. So they were now raising the children to use them to raise money rather than do this Islamist thing they came to learn. They will learn in a few hours, then they send them on the street. At the end of the day, we'll find out that the Islamic scholars were using it to enrich themselves and the system. Then we now found out that the government also failed over the years. They were now using the outcome of the Almajiri system for political tools. They became the thugs, they became the street urchins, they became all sorts of things, leaving the basic thing they came to do, that is learning Islamic. Now, for most of the, if you see all the Islamic competitions, recital of the Quran and the rest that are being organized over the years, you'll find out that hardly anybody from the Almajiri system, the way it is being seen as a social nuisance, have already emerged winner. Those who have emerged winner in Quranic recitation are always those from homes, from schools, from Western schools and the rest.
The menace of the Almajiri recently attracted the attention of federal and state governments, which led to the establishment of special schools geared towards providing them with knowledge and skills that will enable them to live a meaningful life.
I am saying it with gratitude to God Almighty that in Yobe state here, we are not only ready to integrate the Almajiri, but we want to make life better for them. We don't look at Almajiri as people who are offending the community, but rather they are actually being offended by the community. They are children of the have-not, and all they are asking is to learn Islamic education. And for you to think that Quran is not an education, that is actually something very, very serious that one is not supposed to think about. However, we intend here in Yobe State to better the life of Almajiri by giving them sound Islamic and Quranic education, by making sure that we look after their health, by making sure that we improve their well-being, by making sure that we have also assist them to realize their potentialities.
It is difficult to know the number of Almajiri children in Nigeria. In September 2020, a UNICEF report estimated them to be about 10 million, or 81% of the more than 10 million out-of-school children in the country. 26-year-old Usman Ibrahim was enrolled into the traditional Islamic education system known as Sangaya at the age of 5. He now teaches and preaches the importance of the integration of Arabic into the Western education system. He told me if these schools are properly managed, this will solve the problem of education in northern Nigeria.
During the time I was schooling there, I also schooling at primary school Western education. So I used to attend primary school central and also attended Angaya school also sometime. So I used to divide my time. At the morning I would go to primary school, at the evening I went to Angaya schools. So many people my friends that are in Angaya look at me as, somehow engaged in Western, cultures and whatsoever. So they think that I would be influenced by those cultures. So that's the challenges I faced during that time. But now I have overcome all those challenges and they have seen the progress I got. Now I am in university studying political science also as a Angaya product. Yeah, if Angaya school is properly managed, there will be high improvement in the education sector. Because the thing is, I saw it in myself. Currently I am a writer. I wrote more than 5 novels, both Hausa and English, and I wrote academic journals and articles, and also books. Currently, I am launching a book which is called Comparative Politics, and also I am Angaya product. So, and also I learned how to read and write, both in Western education and also Arabic, Nomadic, and all this Angaya. So therefore, I am product of Angaya schools. So this is some benefit of it. So if it's properly managed, and I know our dear brothers, the current students that are studying here, I know that they are even more, studying than what we did. So I have hope that I'm altruistic and optimistic that they will study more than me, inshallah.
Just how did the Almajiri see this move? Is this what they look forward to or even believe in? How about the Malams who teach them in these Sangaya boarding facilities?
I want to recite Quran because it's a normal condition as a Muslim. I want to study some subjects different, like maths, English, basic science, and other subjects. I want to do this WISU. I want to MBBS. I want to recite.
The Almajiri program has coexisted alongside the formal school system in northern Nigeria since the colonial era, but it has failed to be integrated into the formal education sector.
A 1,000-year system of learning is antiquated, outdated, and obsolete. So it should be scrapped, abandoned, and rejected. The Almajiri system is not the only system to learn Islamic tradition or Islamic tenets. We have other Islamic countries. We have Iran, we have Saudi Arabia, we have the United Arab Emirates. Even in Nigeria, we have Muslims from other parts of the country. We have Muslims in the Yoruba land. We have Muslims in Kogi and other places. There are no Almajiris there. The Almajiris are in the core north. So they are not the only ones practicing Islam. So that system should be banned. When we were little, I grew up first 10 of my years in Kwara State. And then we used to go to what they call Ilekeu in Yoruba language, which is an Islamic school with our friends who were Muslims. We used to go there and learn Islam. People came from their homes. So this system of bequeathing children to a particular scholar in the name of learning, it should be scrapped. What they need to do is to evolve a system which will always combine Western education with Arabic education. President Goodluck Jonathan in 2012 experimented with something like that by building Almajiri schools all over the north. What became of that? Because of the selfish political interest of the northern elites and the politicians there, They have left that system to the schools that were built by President Jonathan then, that would have reformed the Almajiri system of education, are left to rot even till today. Some weeks back, some years back, 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Bishop Hassan Kuka raised the issue of how to reform the Almajiri system of education. But he was attacked by the northern elites. The same thing with even people like the deposed Emir of Kano. They raised some of the salient issues about that, warning that this is an army of jobless youths that are going to constitute a very serious problem.
These children that we see as Almajiris and we laugh at them and we treat them as victims, somebody will just come and pick them up, put them in a school, give them medical care, and convert them to another religion. And they will do that by the hundreds and the thousands. So, what we see on the street is a product of bad economic policies and wrong priorities. These children are not criminals, they are victims. What part of Islamic law, what verse in the Quran, what hadith of the Prophet allows a father to give birth to a child and leave the child to go and fend for himself? Where? Sheikh Abdullah bin Fodi said, for you to send a child out to study the Quran without the means to sustain himself and allow that child to go around begging is desecrating and devaluing the Quran. Where did we get this idea that because you claim to be studying the Quran, you can go and just be begging around and not learning?
They will continue to be skeptical about everything until they face the reality, until they discover the potentialities of the Almajiri and how well they will help in developing the country. They will continue to be doubtful about the program. They will continue to cast doubt about how good our intentions are. We will pursue this with vigor. It is wrong for anybody to think that when there is corona, the first target it should be Almajiri. Almajiri must leave my state. You don't own any state as far as the Constitution of Nigeria is concerned. You don't own a state. Every Nigerian is at liberty to live wherever he wants, provided that he is not practicing any illicit business. Providing that he is not contravening the Constitution of Nigeria, he is at liberty to live. Why do you give license to open, to open hotels for the prostitutes? Why do you give licenses and you sack away Almajiris? If you want to fight corona, you should look at the real causes of corona. Almajiri is at the mercy of his slate, reading Quran.
Now, Yobe State has embarked on a pilot program that aims to integrate Islamic studies with the modern school curriculum. It is an ambitious plan that will involve the basic and primary schools in the state adopting a pragmatic approach to learning. The man leading the daunting task told me the government is ready and prepared.
What we are saying is, politics is all about meeting the yearning and the aspiration of your people. Politics is all about obeying the want of the people that brought you to the office. In Yobe State, here, our people are running away from public school because they think they are not getting enough Islamic education in such schools. And then the outsiders will continue to condemn Yobe State as being backward educationally. Out of school children are this much in Yobe State. What we are saying is, if you want us to reduce the number of the out of school children, if you want us to reduce the number of people that will be recruited for Boko Haram to unleash mayhem and insurgency on us, you have to educate the Yobians. And to educate them, you also have to bow to their need. This is what we want, and you have to give it to them. Especially that combining Islamic education with Western education is in concordance with the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
According to Sani Idris, it is better to nurture and build on the Almajiri heritage and age-old relationship, not to jettison it despite the obvious inadequacies. So, Yobe is matching words with action, investing in more infrastructure to accommodate as many students as possible.
What we are saying is, let Yobe state government help in assisting the Almajiri to discover and realize their potentialities, to also make them able to give their contribution for the development of this country. However, we intend here in Yobe State to better the life of Almajiri by giving them sound Islamic and Quranic education, by making sure that we look after their health, by making sure that we improve their well-being, by making sure that we have also assist them to realize their potentialities. It is on this note that His Excellency has inaugurated our committee, and we are working round the clock to make sure that we come up with a model that will be good enough to be emulated by other states, to be replicated across the 36 states of Nigeria.
While insecurity continues to be a challenge in the region, the government has rebuilt schools destroyed by Boko Haram insurgents and built more model schools spread around the state within a short period in anticipation of these assignments. Additionally, mega schools will be put across the state to cater to the Almajiri and other children with backgrounds of deprivation.
The problem of Almajiri is not a problem of population. It's not a problem of birth control. It's a problem of a systemic decay over the years. First of all, the strategy or the methods of teaching Islamic education in Nigeria has to change. Perhaps our northern brothers can come to to the Yoruba land in the Western nation to see how they inculcate the Islamic tenets or the Quranic teaching to their own Muslims. Because in the Southwest, it doesn't happen that way. And we have Islamic schools going. So how do you now, the way forward is to integrate Western education to Islamic studies, just as the way it is done in other Islamic nations. So they should come, they don't need to go far, they don't need to go to Dubai, they don't need to go to Saudi Arabia, they don't need to go to Turkey. They just need to come to a state like Lagos, Ekiti, or other states and see how these things are done. That is one of the way forward. Another way is to reactivate. Because on good authority, we learned that most schools that were built by Goodluck Jonathan, the former president, that they're overgrown with weeds and rodents. So the first thing is to reactivate those schools and see how the schools can now be activated. Let the people who are learning, these children, come from their homes. Let the Almajiri system be the teaching system. In fact, the Almajiri system should be abolished. Let's talk about Quranic education. The Quranic education or Islamic education should be that schools should be set up in locations very close to the people, in contiguous areas, so that children would go from their home to schools that are close to them. And in that way, they can learn both the Quranic education and Western education at the same time. Any other thing short of that is tantamount to just wasting our time.
99% of the Almajiris are not willing to leave their school for begging. They are being forced because of the artificial poverty that we were forced into. This country is a country that is supposed to extend its richness to every Nigerian. God has endowed us with a lot of resources. That those countries you are looking as developed countries, you are describing as developed countries, they don't have the potentialities we are having. They don't have the resources we are having. But because of bad governance, bad leadership, some people have decided to pocket what is by right and what is your right. And this is what gave birth to the rise of this begging and this Almajiri.
Apart from infrastructure, various committees have been working round the clock to make a consensus of the traditional Almajiri schools, register them and prevail on their parents to take responsibility for their children. Laws will also be enacted to effectively regulate them and ensure enforcement and compliance with the government's plan to better and all-inclusive education in the state.
The Almajiri system is being promoted by the elites in the north to satisfy their schemings about using these children as political urchins and thugs. So the people, first of all, most of the parents of these people are impoverished. They are peasants. They are poor people. Have you ever seen a child of a rich man being Almajiri begging on the streets? No. Have you ever seen a child of an elite begging on the street? They have never done that because it's not their way. So what we are saying is that the Almajiri system should be abolished. Then there's not going to be backlash once you can provide this kind of Islamic education to these people close to their homes. And secondly, there has to be economic empowerment in the north so that these children and their parents can have something to do. The children should also, those especially in their teenage age, can be made to have skilled labor and other things to help them live in a better society. But as it's configured now, it is a very negative, what I'll call phenomenon that has been promoted over the years by the northern elites. If the northern elites are truly ready to now reform what they have started, they can now go a step forward and implement all these recommendations we have given and stop, offloading them to other states to cause more havoc. So what needs to be done now is for them to evolve another system. After all, we have in the Christian religion, we have the ways of teaching, which is the school they evolve. So why can't they involve schools that children will come from their parents' home to learn? And then they can combine them in a way, just as they're doing in Saudi Arabia, they're doing in Iran, they're doing in Turkey, they're doing in other Islam nations. So ours would not be different. And the 1,000 system of education should be eradicated immediately in the 21st century.
We are actually not asking anybody to release anybody. What we are going to do is, we have had several meetings with the madams. We have discussed a lot. We have also had a pact with the National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies, and we are now talking with some universities, so that while the students are with Malam, somebody will be coming to teach them English. Somebody will be coming to look after their health. You know, the government will provide them with shelter, will build hostel for them, will make the learning environment a better one, so that they will not need to go for begging. And the parent and the government will also force those parents to live up to their responsibilities, because it is not even allowed within the Islamic injunction for one just to give birth to a child and throw him away. No, you have a responsibility towards this child as a parent, and the government will make sure that you as parents are carrying this responsibility to the best of your ability.
Indeed, Yobe State could be on the road to showcasing that the Almajiri sanctuary is sustainable, but a lot depends on the success of this project. Will it be the worthy example for other states? The answer to this hinges on adequate funding and, more importantly, an effective public enlightenment that will result in a higher turnover of Almajiri pupils in the system. No doubt, these are certainly lofty ambitions, but going by the passion of the state government, indeed, Yobe could be on the road to showcase that their Almajiri sanctuary is sustainable, because if these experiments succeed, it would be a beacon for other states to follow.